Hi everybody. Just want to apologize. My last video, I realized a little bit after I made it that I was kind of manic. I was excited that, it wasn't a UTI and it wasn't a flare and I was on the mend. But also, I think the Impura is making me a little hyper, which actually it's okay because I thought I was gonna have to start taking something for to have more energy because caffeine just wasn't cutting it anymore, and I was like, am I gonna have to do Adderall? So I'm kind of hoping that the Impura will help with my energy levels and I'll get used to it, and maybe I won't drive myself and others crazy being so manic. So apologize a little bit for that, but felt like I needed to explain. As I said before, we're gonna have a video in the next couple of days when my best friend gets home, because she's the videographer of the walking, and so we can compare my walking compared to, I don't know, like a week ago, to see how it is on the Impura. I started it Monday and I'm very excited because I can tell just around the house things are a little easier, as they say in the South. I don't have quite as much of a hitch in my get along as I did. So I did live in Kentucky for 15 years, so if you ever hear that sneak out, that's where that comes from. So I want to read you guys something I wrote at the beginning of the pandemic, COVID-19 hitting the States. The purpose of it, my purpose, was to write something that I could send to my father, whom I don't see very often, because I wanted to convey what my life is actually like. I'm 43 years old. I was officially diagnosed when I was 22. And I just wanted to, I know you guys have been there where you're like, I can't explain to them what this is like. And sometimes when we do try to explain it, we just sound like we're complaining, and then they say things like, oh, I know, I get tired too. And you're like, are you serious? This is not tired. This is like, I ran 2 marathons in a row and I haven't slept for a week and somebody beat me with a bag of oranges. Like, it's impossible for them to understand. And I was just trying to do that. And it worked. This actually worked, for him to understand this part of my life. The whole rest of it is a whole other story, my own issues. But anyway, I thought, well, if it helped in my situation, maybe, I don't know, it could be useful to you guys. So, feel free to, share this video with, friends and family members who you feel like you want to express this to, but haven't quite been able to find the words. If not, if it doesn't apply to you, happy trails, and that's good. So I'm hoping, I have to read it off my laptop because I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to load paper in the printer. So let's try this. All right. 20 years of quarantine. Lockdown, self-isolation, quarantine. These are all brand new concepts to millions of people around the world due to the COVID-19 global pandemic. For many with chronic illness and/or a disability, it is just another day. Another replica of the same day with no real marker for whether it is Monday morning, Friday night, or Sunday afternoon. The sun rises and the sun sets just the same, and we watch life go on from our role as a spectator. The only thing that has changed for us in these strange times is that other people are now spectating with us. They don't like it. They are bored, frustrated. Many are scared. But they will all get their regular lives back eventually. For them, this is not a life sentence. They will go back to participating in life. Those of us cursed with this lifelong struggle of a chronic illness or disability will watch them as they go back to work, the gym, their family gatherings. Some of us can participate a little, but for the most part, we will remain where we have always been, on the sidelines, watching. I don't remember choosing this lifestyle when I now understand is called quarantine to the masses. Staying home, avoiding gatherings, only venturing out for essential reasons or needs is normal life for us. For the masses, it is a huge sacrifice. I knew my life was different. I didn't delude myself that my lack of social activity was normal, but I didn't realize it was as extreme as it is. I didn't realize how normal my abnormal existence had become to myself. And I didn't realize that living this way was torturous to most people and even downright impossible for some of them. I see it now. I can never unsee it now. If I didn't choose the lifestyle of lockdown, then it must have chosen me. It chose me a little bit at a time, stealing freedom and life experiences from me incrementally over the last 2 decades. It actually got a head start and began stealing from me pre-diagnosis. When I was in college, I used to come back from class, which I was able to bike or walk to without issue, and lay down immediately. I can't believe I didn't notice that wasn't how a normal 18 or 19-year-old lives. I've never been afflicted with normalcy, so I didn't see it as problematic. I managed to chalk it up to taking an overload of classes, competing on the equestrian teams, and traveling home each weekend. I was a busy, hard-working introvert. The choices I made to lay down a lot, avoid parties and gatherings, and be extremely choosy about whether or not a trip was worth it. Sorry, I lost my spot. Was worth it. This is part of having MS, isn't it? Where you're like, oh, darn it. Funky eyes, optic neuritis. You're like, I don't know. Avoid parties and gatherings. Not only is it a misnomer, I decided I must be antisocial. Not only is this a misnomer, as it should be restricted to describing sociopathy, but is also incorrect in its intended meaning. I am not socially awkward. I do not dislike most people. But since I was a teenager, most social scenarios are exhausting to me. The fatigue of my disease was the first thief. It so easily masqueraded as reasonable by blending in as normal. It's funny, side note, when you look back pre-diagnosis and you can kind of see like, I had this a lot longer when I really think about it. Anyway, continuing on with our story. I imagine there are a myriad of ways to justify self-isolation due to chronic illnesses and disabilities. It has taken me 20 years and a global pandemic to be able to see clearly, so I know I could never possibly conceptualize all the other reasons people have. Illness and disability inherently carries shame and depression with it. One unfortunate bladder or bowel incident will render many quite unwilling to leave the comfort and convenience of home. Whether it's because the person is riddled with anxiety about the next bodily malfunction, or maybe they just want to be practical with a trusted restroom and change of clothes nearby. They are going to choose to stay home to avoid the stress and possible embarrassment. Another reason to avoid public places is the risk of falling. Falling in front of people never gets easier. I have fallen in the middle of a very busy warm-up arena. That's like at a horse show where everybody gets ready before they go and compete. Very busy warm-up arena in front of the in-gate at a regional championship horse show. I was walking with a parent of a rider I was coaching and about to send into the arena. I was striding along at a pretty good clip, feeling pretty confident about myself, and then splat, down I went. That was nearly 16 years ago. I could go to the Virginia Horse Center right now and point to the exact place where it happened. I was utterly humiliated. I was just as mortified when I fell down in front of our local grocery store 3 months ago. Now it's like 9 months ago. Once again, I was feeling proud of myself and even thinking about how well I was walking. The next thing I knew, I didn't know where my legs were and I wasn't capable of controlling them. Then the panicked onlookers came to assist. One, "Oh my gosh," after another. Then one, "Can I help you?" after another. My hair was in my face, and all I could see was cute little stylish shoes that the trendy, able-bodied women were wearing, who were confused and frantic after watching me fall in front of the shopping carts. I wanted the earth to swallow me up right there where I landed. But as usual, I had to politely decline their help because no average person can help me up. I have my own tried and true method. It was the same when I fell trying to get in my fiance's truck in the posh area of downtown Scottsdale, Arizona on Valentine's Day. I had to decline help from the older gentleman who was near me when I landed in the street. Falling is a fairly regular occurrence, and because of my particular disease, it is nearly impossible to predict when it might happen next. I just know that every time I leave the house, the risk increases greatly, and the risk is happening in front of others is guaranteed. Bathroom issues and falling are by themselves enough to keep me living as a hermit forever. I don't, though. I make myself go out. I force myself to go to places just so I remember that I can. I don't want to ever let the fear control me entirely. I consider that unacceptable. But that means I might leave the house maybe once in a week. Compare that to the average person, and it's a prison life. Leaving home is scary. It is more dangerous for me, and that is a constant and hard truth. We don't know how many months it will take, but people will get their lives back when this pandemic finally settles down. Herd immunity will inevitably develop. Hospitals will catch up, and life will slowly return to something similar to normal. I'd be happy to see everyone get their lives back. After 20 years, I might be starting to accept the fact that I never will. Finding meaning and beauty in the everyday details of life has become my specialty. I'm an expert at looking forward to things that most consider mundane. Sometimes it's a television show I'm excited to watch, a funny thing my dog did, or a successful shower. I try not to think about how I have intentionally tried to be gleeful about these events so that my life can resemble something normal. So far, I have done a pretty good job convincing myself. I hope that the regular people suffering through the quarantine because of this global pandemic not only survive it with their sanity, but also come out the other end with a greater appreciation for the smaller things that are actually the most important in life. So that's my story of 20 years of quarantine. I hope it was helpful for you. Have a good rest of the evening. Bye.